Breaking news. Former presidential aide Hakeem Baba Ahmed blames Nigeria's deepening insecurity on years of poor leadership, while warning against foreign interference as NAFDAC raids a Plateau warehouse and arrests 2 suspects for altering expiry dates on wines and spirits. A Plateau cleric vows to drag the federal government to the International Criminal Court over alleged mass killings of Christians. Israel recovers more hostage remains from Gaza amid UN vaccination campaigns for thousands of children. Voting continues in the Anambra governorship election with reports of voter inducement and low turnout. And Middlesbrough manager Rob Edwards is stood down amid growing interest from Wolves for a potential return to the Premier League bench. In today's world, get the top stories from all over the world. I bring you premium, top-notch news from trusted and verified sources covering politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. Stay tuned for exclusive access to the latest updates, insights, and developments, all from the comfort of your devices, only on Bull News. Bad leadership behind Nigeria's insecurity. Baba Ahmed. We begin with security and governance in Nigeria. Former special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and former spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, has once again spoken out strongly against the quality of leadership in the country. Speaking in an interview on Arise TV, Baba Ahmed said Nigeria's insecurity crisis can be directly traced to poor leadership decisions stretching back over the last decade and a half. In his words, "The only thing that has been consistent all along is that we have had bad leaders going as far back as after President Yar'Adua. For the past 15 years, this country has been poorly led." He accused successive governments, from President Goodluck Jonathan to Muhammadu Buhari and now President Tinubu, of failing to confront the deepening insecurity that continues to claim lives and destabilize communities. Baba Ahmed noted that while Nigeria faces complex and evolving threats, from terrorism to banditry and separatist agitations, leadership failures remain at the heart of the crisis. He also addressed growing international concerns, particularly from the United States, where former U.S. President Donald Trump recently accused Nigerian authorities of allowing mass killings of Christians by radical groups. Trump suggested possible U.S. military action to protect Christians in Nigeria, a statement that has stirred diplomatic tension. Reacting, Baba Ahmed said such remarks from Washington reflect a misunderstanding of Nigeria's internal challenges, warning that foreign interference could make things worse. He stated firmly, "America would not fix Nigeria. The last thing we need is America breathing down our necks. We must fix our problems ourselves." The federal government has since rejected Trump's allegations, describing them as false and misleading, while maintaining that security operations and interfaith reconciliation efforts continue across the country. Raids, Plateau, warehouse, over altered expiry dates. In another development, health authorities in Plateau State have made significant arrests as part of their crackdown on fake and expired products. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, raided a warehouse in the Apata area of Jos, where officials discovered beverages with tampered expiry and manufacturing dates. According to NAFDAC's North Central Director, Kenneth Azikiwe, the products, which included wines and alcoholic drinks, had their original labels removed and were cleaned with chemicals before being relabeled with new expiry dates. 2 suspects, Yusuf Hassan and Emma Nwobi, were arrested for their roles in the scheme, with more arrests expected. Azikiwe revealed that the culprits were selling the items in small quantities to avoid detection, but an alert consumer's complaint led to the discovery. He added that the agency had been directed by its Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, to intensify enforcement ahead of the festive season, when fake and expired products often flood the market. The Plateau State Coordinator of NAFDAC, Dr. Obida Musa, described the act as appalling, warning that such crimes endanger lives. He called on citizens to always check manufacturing and expiry dates directly on original labels, not stickers. Meanwhile, one of the suspects, Yusuf Hassan, pleaded for leniency, claiming he was unaware that the products had expired and were altered. NAFDAC has vowed to prosecute offenders and continue sweeping nationwide operations to rid markets of unsafe goods. Operations that have already led to seizures worth over 1 trillion naira from markets in Idumota, Aba, and Onitsha. Plateau cleric threatens to drag FG to ICC over killings. Still in Plateau State, a Christian cleric, Reverend Ezekiel Dakamo, has vowed to take the federal government before the International Criminal Court, ICC, over alleged killings of Christians in the northern part of the country. Reverend Dachomo, who leads the Church of Christ in Nations, says he has embarked on a personal mission to gather evidence of what he calls systematic genocide against Christian communities. He told Saturday Punch that he has been visiting affected communities in Plateau, Benue, and other northern states to record testimonies, document mass graves, and compile a report to be presented to international authorities. Dachomo accused both the federal government and the Christian Association of Nigeria, CN, of ignoring or denying the killings, saying such denials only embolden the attackers. So far, the church has received more than 7 million naira in donations from supporters across Nigeria to aid survivors and families of victims. The cleric says the funds have been used to support widows, displaced persons, and children who lost their parents in the attacks. He cited examples of villages such as Dogo Nahawa, where over 500 people were reportedly killed in one night, and his own village, where 23 people, including his best friend's family, were burnt alive. Dachomo says he plans to visit more locations, including Mangu, Bokos, and Benue, to complete his documentation. Despite alleged threats to his life, he says he will continue until justice is served. Israel receives more hostage remains from Gaza. To international developments now, in the Middle East, Israel has recovered the remains of Command Sergeant Major Lior Rudef, one of the hostages held by Hamas in Gaza since the October 7, 2023, attacks. The Israel Defense Forces confirmed that Rudef, who was killed at kibbutz near Yitzhak, was among the last remaining hostages whose bodies were still in Gaza. This is the fourth transfer of deceased hostages from Hamas to Israel this week, facilitated by the Red Cross under the terms of the U.S.-brokered ceasefire. Earlier in the week, Israel also received the remains of Omer Nutra, Asaf Hamami, Oz Daniel, Itai Chen, and Joshua Loitu Molel, a Tanzanian student. Meanwhile, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, and UNICEF have launched an emergency vaccination drive for 44,000 children in Gaza. The campaign targets children who missed vital immunizations since the start of the war. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 460 people, including 154 children, have died of starvation since the conflict began. The UN warns that more than 1 million children in Gaza now need psychological and nutritional support, as the region faces another harsh winter with limited aid and shelter supplies. Anambra governorship election. Voting underway. Back in Nigeria, polls have opened in the Anambra state governorship election, one of the country's off-cycle polls. Reports from across the state show that voting began peacefully in most polling units, though turnout remains mixed. At Nsugbe Ward 1 in Anambra East, Senator Tony Nwoyi was among the early voters. He praised security operatives for maintaining peace, but expressed disappointment over low voter turnout. However, at some polling stations, there were reports of voter inducement, with party agents allegedly offering financial incentives to influence voting choices. Despite these challenges, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the election is proceeding smoothly across 5,718 polling units, with 24,000 personnel deployed. Only two major parties, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, were represented in many polling units around the state capital, Awka. Incumbent Governor Charles Soludo of APGA remains a leading contender, facing candidates from the PDP, LP, APC, and others. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amupatan has assured voters that results will reflect the will of the people, stressing that every vote must count. Rob Edwards stood down amid Wolves' interest. In sports, uncertainty surrounds the future of Middlesbrough manager Rob Edwards, who has been stood down from his side's match against Birmingham amid strong interest from Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves, who dismissed manager Vitor Pereira after a 10-game winless run, have identified Edwards, a former player and coach at the club, as their preferred replacement. Middlesbrough officials are said to be in talks with Edwards after rejecting Wolves' initial approach. The 42-year-old only joined Boro in June after managing Luton Town and leading them to Premier League promotion in 2023. Boro currently sit third in the championship table, while Wolves are bottom of the Premier League. If you want to stay informed with the stories that truly matter, go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell so you never miss a video and help us bring these updates directly to you.